It's 6 p.m. and it is our special meeting. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Kamal,
Here.
Kennard, Davis,
Here.
Laster,
Present.
Rogers is present, Piles.
Excused.
We have a quorum.
Okay, can we stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, any public comment? Seeing none, and I just,
Gotta read the agenda.
yes, I apologize. Be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts the October 14th, 2025 meeting agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been motioned by Laster, supported by Davis. Any discussion? Roll call.
Laster,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Kamal,
Yes.
Kennard.
Yes.
Rogers is yes, motion is approved.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Again, there was no public comment. And I just want to, because sometimes I forget things, I wrote a brief little statement for tonight. So tonight, the Board of Education will be interviewing candidates to fill the current vacancy on the Romulus Community School Boards. Each candidate will have a total of 30 minutes for their interview. This includes introductions, a set of structured questions, and at the end of the time, any closing remarks or questions for the board. We'll be using a round-robin format, meaning each board member will take turns asking questions. All candidates will receive the same questions in the same amount of time to respond. This helps to keep the process fair and consistent for everyone. Candidates will begin the evening in a holding room until it is their turn to interview, and after completing their interview, candidates are welcome to return and sit in the boardroom to observe the remainder of the process. After all the interviews are complete, we'll move to the voting process. Each board member will share their top 3 candidates with the first name mentioned representing their first choice. These selections will be displayed on the screen for transparency. Based on the results, the board will then make a motion to nominate and appoint the new member. And at the end of this process, the selected candidate will be sworn in to officially join the board. Thank you again. All right. We have our first candidate, who is Ashley Capito. Thank you, Ms. Capito. You can come up. We have water, all the candy in the world, and there is there is also the questions so that you can refer back to, and just a notepad if you want to jot or doodle anything down. So my name is Portia Laster. I am the board president. Want to welcome you and thank you for just coming to serve. And we just want to know a little bit about you.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here, and good evening to you all. So I already forgot question 1. Lord have mercy.
Just a little bit about
Oh,
yourself.
Yeah, okay. So I started my background is actually in accounting. I started out in public accounting which was the big corporations, and I soon realized that wasn't really what I wanted to do. And so I went into the nonprofit sector because it really kind of matched my values as a person. And so since I've been in the nonprofit sector, I've been serving the community. I work at a nonprofit out in Southwest Detroit area, and I realized that that's really where my heart is. And so although my background is in accounting, what really motivates me is programs succeeding, and then that ripple effect that it has on the people, that it has on the community. And so I have a financial background, leadership and management background, but I really have a heart to serve and really try to bring, and I haven't been here that long, unfortunately. I just got here a couple of years ago to the Romulus community, and since I've been here, everyone has been super welcoming, and so I just have been eager to get involved, and I think that being a part of the board is a way that I can contribute and help move the district forward.
Thank you so much for that. My question for you is, what do you believe is the primary role and responsibility of a school board member?
For school boards and boards in general, I think it's really about oversight. It's about policy. It's about governance. It's not as much as the day-to-day, which of course is important, and that is what schools do, but it's really about the overall vision and the mission of the community and the district to help us create well-rounded students that will thrive. And as well as, when we have great students and great individuals, we then have a strong community.
Thank you so much.
What unique skills, experiences, or perspectives do you bring that would add value to the board?
I'll go ahead and leverage again just my background in finance, specifically in nonprofit and grants. Just to deep dive a little bit more into what I do on a regular basis in my job is I work on budget, I work on grant management, and a lot of compliance. I know that that's something that we have to do when we're looking at what we do for the board. And so I have that unique ability to know and understand the fiscal responsibilities of everything, as well as the need to collaborate to make sure that we have an even playing field and that we're using the resources to reach our goals that we have.
Can you share a specific example of how you've used those strengths to create a positive change, improvement, or innovation in a previous role or organization? But you kind of...
Yeah, I can still elaborate a little bit more though. Just because the nonprofit that I'm currently at, when I first got to that organization, they had a lot of turnover in that organization. And so when I came in, I had to put on my process improvement hat, which is something that I've dealt with a lot in my career, and just kind of seeing what gaps we have in the policies and the procedures, kind of doing, when I first get into places, I usually just want to talk to people and see where everyone's, what they're thinking and where their head's at so that we can kind of move forward and make things better. The answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, just 1 minute. All right. All right, this question is on district challenges.
Okay.
From your perspective, what are the most significant challenges facing our district, whether academic, financial, or community-based?
Yes. So like many districts, I think Romulus faces challenges around student achievement, funding stability, community engagement, and I see opportunities for us to strengthen family-school partnerships, for us to attract and retain quality educators. I know that has been just knowing some of the other school districts as well. I know retaining that quality educators and staff has been a issue. And then aligning our financial planning with some of our long-term goals. And so I know that that's something that faces a lot of communities, but I do think that Romulus is already heading into that right direction. I love the company the back-to-school picnics to help with the community engagement and the new basketball team that we have. I think all of those kind of tie in and bring people together and help out with some of the challenges that we face.
Thank you.
Decision-making. School board decisions often involve competing interests and passionate community input. How do you approach decision-making when faced with differing opinions or public pressure?
So I have different opinions, confrontation, disagreements. I think that is just something that happens organically in the communities and in politics. And I think where I like to do is lead with understanding and curiosity, even if someone doesn't share my same opinion. I always want to listen to understand their perspective. And then see where we can go to compromise. I think at the end of the day, our goal is always going to be our students and our educators and our community. And I think as long as, even if you have different opinions and you have disagreements, if you keep that at the forefront of what you're doing and what you're talking about, that helps and mitigate some of those disagreements and different opinions. Just that's sticking to the same common goal.
Thank you.
All right, this question is on fiscal responsibility. The board plays a key role in maintaining the financial integrity of the district. What is your understanding of the school budgeting process?
So, I know that we believe in transparency. I know that we also just passed a nice budget. That was good. And so I think that they transparency and integrity is our big thing. I know that we look at all of our financial statements and all of the money that's coming in to try to figure out where we need to properly allocate everything. I know that we get, a certain amount per person or per individual, and then we try to do our best to allocate that out to to the different departments that we need. And I know that's not always an easy thing to do. Budgeting in general is a task in itself. Usually it stresses me out, turns my hair gray a little bit, just because you know what needs to happen and you don't always have the resources to do that. And so it comes a point where when you're budgeting, you really have to dig deep and make difficult decisions. But I always admire the transparency of the financials and the budgeting process that you all have here at Romulus.
Can I go now?
I'm just kind of waiting until they get down the hall.
Okay. What does it mean to be student-centered in practice, not just in principle?
Student center and practice, I think, is realizing that all students are different. And sometimes we always want to focus on academics as being a way to, not judge a student, but we have to look at the fact that all students are different and we need to cater to the difference in whether it's academic or social or emotional. I think when we put students as a centered focus, we're looking at trying to create well-rounded children, well-rounded individuals that will be pillars of the community. And that doesn't just mean judging them by their test scores. It means looking at what every student needs and holds to succeed as an individual. Of course, we're a school district. We care about schools. We care about schools. We care about academics. But understanding that being student-centered doesn't mean that that has to be our only focus. And sometimes there are barriers that prevent students from being academically, from their academic achievements, and making sure that we understand what we need to do for our students so that they then can be well-rounded when they come through the schools.
This one is on handling concerns. As a board member, you may be approached directly by parents or staff with concerns about district operations, personnel, or decisions. How would you handle these situations while maintaining confidentiality, respecting communication protocols, and ensuring the concern is addressed appropriately?
So as a board member, if I was approached by a parent or a staff with a concern, I'd listen respectfully, of course. I definitely don't want anyone to feel like they're being dismissed or that they're not being heard. So I listen, I'd understand, I'd thank them for their time, but then I also let them know that unfortunately, we as individual board members don't take those complaints. And I'd encourage them to go through the proper channels of talking to the administration and letting it run up the pipeline as it should, and let them know that the board cares and the board will address the concern as we can, and let them know that we're here and that we support them. But I do want them to go through the proper channels of getting that concern addressed, and it's not going to be just directly through me.
Ethical leadership. Serving on a school board requires integrity, confidentiality, and ethical decision-making. Describe a time when you faced an ethical dilemma or were asked to make a decision that tested your values.
Ooh, oh, sorry. So just recently, unfortunately, due to our funding at my organization, we had to go through layoffs. And that being one of the key decision makers in that layoff, and people knowing that that was the role that I played as the finance lead, everyone was at my door. Am I getting laid off? Who getting laid off? What's going to happen? And rightfully so, it's a hard time. It's a tough time. Everyone's edge. But in those circumstances, you know, it's against my ethics. It's a confidential matter. I can't tell you ahead of time. I can't tell you who else is going to be impacted by what we're going through. And so in those instances, I simply just have to tell them, you know, in this kind of a coin statement, but, you know, I hear you, I understand. I completely understand that this is a tough time for you, and I just refer them back to the fact that we're going to have a meeting soon. We'll address everything at the meeting, letting you know anything outside of that is unethical and it can't be done.
This question is vision for the future. Looking ahead 5 years, what is your vision for Romulus Community Schools, and how do you see yourself contributing to the vision as a board member?
We are going to be rocking. I already know it, and I know it. So we're going to improve those test scores that I know that have been good for some of the schools like Romel, but we want to bring everybody else up to the standards. We're going to be good and doing good at those soccer games and things that I'm pretty sure I can get started in as well too. We're going to keep it going with the back to school picnics and the engagements. I can't golf, so I won't be at anything like that, but those kind of things I think is what really helps the communities. I'm really big on collaboration. I'm really big on community engagement. I have children in the community as well too, so I participate in a lot of those things, and I'm very excited. You know, all the other communities around here, they're always doing something, and so then when I see Romulus is doing something, I'm there because I think that's important. And when I first got to the community, admittedly so, I did not know what I was coming into. I was super far away from my family. I'm like, oh no, I'm in the country. No one wants to come visit me. They said, you know, it's too far out. And so being able to bond with the community as the students, that's important to me. And so I definitely see that as our vision, as well as those improved test scores. The other thing that happened when I came into this community is people tried to encourage me to, you know, put my kids in Canton school system or put them in a charter school that's in the area. And I'm like, no. Romulus Elementary has they have good ratings. I believe in them. And so I definitely see us being a place where people want to put their kids at. They want to use school of choice and pick Romulus Elementary or Romulus Community Schools as a school that they deem a good fit for their families.
Thank you. And finally, Ms. Capito, we appreciate you. Do you have any questions for the board, or did you want to provide any closing remarks?
I would be interested in hearing a couple of your perspectives on some of the challenges that you believe face the Romulus community as well too, and things that you all have in place that you all can share with us or with me.
Absolutely.
President.
Obviously, we know that chronic absenteeism is huge, and that's across the board going beyond that, getting kids to school on time, tardies and all of that. We do have attendance liaisons, but they can only do so much. So just working on the partnership between parents and the school to get the kids here so that they can learn. If you watched the board meeting yesterday, our data, our scores, which is a lot, but trying to get the right people in place. We just hired a director of teaching, learning, and professional development. So hopefully we get those turned around, and just trying to, as a board, do what we need to do here at the table so Dr. Edmondson can do what he needs to do for the district, and then the whole chain can work. So those are my top two right now. Does anybody else want to chime in? Okay. Well, we do appreciate your time, and we thank you so much. And you can stick around. You can go to Subway or Captain Nemo's or however, visit downtown, and then we just want to make sure that you do come back around the 9:30ish mark.
That's my bedtime, but I'll be here. I'm
Yes,
actually going to
just
stick around.
yeah. Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate
I
you.
appreciate the time.
We need to leave the folder there.
And put all my other stuff in here, too.
Get your almond joy.
That's my favorite.
And be sure to
Is there some pizza and stuff?
Good evening, Mr. Green. How are you?
Good, you?
I'm doing well. My name is Portia Laster, Board President, and we'll just go ahead with you introducing yourself and just like a brief overview.
Okay. Once again, my name is DeAndre Green. I moved out to the city of Romulus about 5 years ago. I have 2 children that currently attends Romulus Elementary School. I am a bricklayer by trade. My wife, she has a master's degree in early childhood education, and when I found out about an opening with the school board, as much as I try to be involved with my children with school, I figured this would be a great opportunity to continue that.
Thank you, Mr. Green. I have the first question of the evening. What do you believe is the primary role and responsibility of a school board member? I apologize. Thank you, Eve. Yes.
The primary role and responsibility of a school board. Listen to not only the students, but the parents that's in the community, the school district, and to, I guess, to enforce those rules.
Thank you.
What unique skills, experiences, or perspectives do you bring that would add value to the board?
I believe that seeing that I graduated from Detroit Public Schools. So being able to see the pros and cons from there, I think that would help. And then also with some of the values, I remember at the school board meeting at the beginning of September, you all were talking about going to the forage plant and taking a tour so that the kids could know about those different options. With me being in the trade for almost 20 years, I have connections with bricklayers, plumbers, steam fitters, roofers, laborers, even contractors. One of the biggest restoration contractor in this region. I worked with them for over 10 years, and I could reach out to them to help with job fairs and et cetera, to just letting the kids know that, hey, it's more options than just college.
Can you share a specific example of how you used those strengths to create a positive change, improvement, or innovation in a previous role or organization?
I have a friend of mine that has a nonprofit organization, and he asked me to come out and to tell his young men about the trades and what they can offer. And when I went and talked to them, I told them, like, hey, I'm not here to bash college. I'm just saying that a lot of people don't know about the trades program. I explained to them that it's free. Some of the trade programs actually pay you to go through it, and they set you up. I'm a success story. I can tell you about how my life is with going through the trades and where I made it. And I, like I say, came from the city of Detroit, the east side of Detroit, and here I am now.
Okay, this question is pertaining to district challenges. From your perspective, what are the most significant challenges currently facing our district, and whether it's academic, financial, or community-based?
I would say community-based with communication.
Thank you.
Okay.
Decision-making. School board decisions often involve competing interests and passionate community input. How do you approach decision-making when faced with differing opinions and public pressure?
I would say first trying to find the common grounds between the two. And then with being held to, still knowing that we have a standard that we have to, hold by, even if the decision wasn't what the community wanted, just explaining to them the why and the reasonings why we had to go that route instead of the route that they wanted to go.
Thank you.
All right, this question is on fiscal responsibility. The board plays a key role in maintaining the financial integrity of the district. What is your understanding of the school budgeting process?
As far as the process, I'm not sure of, but I do understand that there is budgeting that you have to abide by. Like, one of the problems that I had going into this year was because of budgeting. So, I understand it and the effects of it.
What does it mean to be student-centered in practice, not just in principle?
I'm not sure. I'm running a blank on that.
Okay, this question is on handling concerns. As a board member, you may be approached directly by parents or staff with concerns about district operations, personnel, or decisions. How would you handle these situations while maintaining confidentiality, respecting communication protocols, and ensuring the concern is addressed appropriately?
Depending on the school, first I would tell them to reach out to if it's high school or middle school, first to reach out to the counselor, follow your chain of command. And then I would do the same once it's brought to me. I would come back and follow my chain of command, explaining what's happening and what's the problem.
Thank you.
Ethical leadership. Serving on the school board requires integrity, confidentiality, and ethical decision-making. Describe a time when you faced an ethical dilemma or were asked to make a decision that tested your values.
So when I was working for the one contractor, I had a gentleman that didn't show up for work. And our policy was to write him up. Well, I reached out to him. I went a little further. He had dropped his phone one day, and he had to call his mom to let her know that he didn't have a phone. So when I didn't hear from the gentleman, what I ended up doing is I ended up calling the number that he had called his mom on. I called her, asked her, told her about it. Come to find out, he was in trouble. And when I end up relaying that information back to my superintendent, he's like, hey, write him up. And I'm like, no, he literally couldn't come to work. It wasn't I overslept or anything like that. He was in a bad position, and he could have did things differently, but at my heart, I'm like, no, I'm not writing this man up for that. I said, if you want to write him up, you can come write him up, but I'm not.
Thank you.
This question is regarding the vision for the future. Looking ahead 5 years, what is your vision for Romulus Community Schools, and how do you see yourself contributing to the vision as a board member?
Well, within 5 years, my children will still be in this district. And whatever I can do as far as within my powers to help the school, giving my opinion, especially with my children being inside still inside the school, I get to see it from two different sides.
Thank you. So, Mr. Green, we're at the closing. Do you have any questions for the board, or did you want to provide any closing remarks?
Yes, I do have a question. um, let's say that you all were to choose me to be a part of the school board committee, and 12 months from now, you all feel that I'm doing a great job at being on the school board. In your eyes, what would that look like for me? What are the things that I could do that would make you say, oh, he's doing a great job, or et cetera?
I would say getting involved, not just at the table, but how you go about the community, how you are engaging with the families. We're big on trainings here. This board right here currently sits as an honor board, and what that means is that everyone has completed their level 100 trainings from the MASB. So we are big on training and learning because we expect professional development from our staff, Dr. Edmondson, and everyone here. So we feel like we need to mirror that as well. So just seeing how you engage with the trainings, are you open to like when we do our board retreats and stuff, and just different ideas that you have. So that's something that I would gauge on how you're going, and then stepping into leadership roles. Are you interested in holding an office and things of that sort? That would be my version of it. Anybody else have a comment?
I just wanted to add, excuse me, that with this term, it'll be time to run again next year. So that's when she was saying about being seen in the public. Then, these positions, there's going to be 4 seats that are up. We have to rerun again. So your seat would be one of those positions that will be up for reelection. So you would, being out there, being seen, so people know who you are. So that when it does come time to run your race, they can put a name with a face. And they can see, oh yeah, Mr. Green was doing this. He's always been there, That's how you really get out there.
Seeing no other questions, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Mr. Green.
Thank you.
Yes. That's what teamwork is for. You are more than welcome to stay. I did tell our other candidate you can visit Captain Nemo's or have some pizza here. But if you do leave, just try to come back by like 9:30. We'll have our decision and swear in the next board member. So
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Why do I have 2 questions?
I got 2 too.
Where?
Right there.
No, I mean like in the same question.
Oh.
So I
I
don't know
guess
if
that's just where it was, I guess. You picked up, yeah. Yeah, so some people are long-winded and so on, so he did interview, but he just, you gotta look at that. Yeah. What, you want me to ask?
Yeah.
Monique?
And Mr. Brock, we kept the questions. Yep. Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, Mr. Jackson. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. My name is Portia Laster. I am the board president here. We're just going to start with you introducing yourself and just telling us a little brief background about you.
Okay. Hey, how everybody doing on the panel? I'm Antoine Jackson. I'm a Romulus resident. I'm also a former student of Romulus High School. I graduated in the year 2000. So roughly about 25 years ago. But I always been somebody who wanted to be hands-on in the community. I always thought that no matter what I went out in the world and did, that I would return to this community and pay it forward and give back some type of way. I have been giving back in with my time and stuff like that because I was a youth coach over at the junior NBA with Colleen. I don't know if y'all familiar with Colleen, but she over at the rec center. I actually did it before it was a junior NBA though, so my daughter's in 9th grade. I've been coaching basketball and kids since she was in kindergarten, and I still do that, but I just wanted to see a way I can also continue to give back.
Thank you for that. My question is, what do you believe is the primary role and responsibility of a school board member?
Well, the primary role and responsibility of a school board member would kind of be able to, would be able to steer the direction that our school system is going in. It'll also be able to solve the problems that they face when seeing if the steering not going right. Definitely to bridge a gap between the parents and the schools and the school board members, and kind of keep the community updated and abreast of what's going on.
What unique skills, experiences, or perspectives do you bring that would add value to the board?
Well, what unique skills I bring and what add value to the board is I've definitely been on steering committees before with multiple different types of communities. So I was on one steering committee for Force Detroit, which was backed by Tandem Education out of Memphis, Tennessee. And what we did is we picked 5 cities that were low-income cities per se, and Detroit was one of them. Jackson, Mississippi, New Orleans, Louisiana, and Newark, New Jersey, and Tandem had a grant from the government to give out $100,000 per city per business. So what we did is we came up with a plan. Instead of giving one person $100,000, how about we give 20 businesses $5,000 each? And what we did with those businesses is we came up with the campaigns for Detroit. It was called Detroit Is Us. You had to submit to the campaign why we should pick your business, and then we had people vote on it, and that was in 2020. So the goal was to come back 5 to 10 years later to see if those businesses still existed and how were they impacting the community based on what they told us they would do. It's actually coming up on the 5 years now, so that we should be gearing up to see who did what with what and who's still around. But with that, I learned that if you just help people and get involved, they might not know what they want to do, but they might know that they want to do something, and with the right direction, they will do what they wanted to do because they have the allies and the partners to do so.
Can you share a specific example of how you've used those strengths to create positive change, improvement, or innovation in a previous role or organization?
Can you read that again? Because are you saying my specific skills or?
Yeah, it's a 2-part question, so if you could just elaborate on maybe the,
All right, what number is that so I can read it?
it's number
Okay.
2.
Oh, well, those were specific examples with me saying with the businesses. So, like, you got to think about it. Instead of giving one person a bunch of money, if you give a bunch of people a little money, then you actually broaden your horizons on what can be done. So think about it as venture capitalism, right? I might put $10,000 into 20 companies. I'm only looking for 2 of those companies to be successful per se, and that'll bring me my return back. Now think about students, right? Roughly how many students in the high school? Probably like 541. If that is that accurate, or is it less than that?
Close.
Okay, so it's about 541 students, right? So we provide the same thing to every student, right? But although we want every student to be successful, we are adults, and we do know that only a few people go take their success personal and go out there and do and be everything they said they was going to be. Those are the students that we need to go do that, represent Romulus, and be the voice for Romulus to come back and say, hey, I went here, you can go here too and be the same thing. So I kind of look at it like venture capital, and being specific with venture capitalists, like you have to see something in everything that you invest in. So you got to see something in every student that you invest in. So it's kind of the same with me.
This question is related to district challenges. From your perspective, what are the most significant challenges currently facing our district, whether academic, financial, or community-based?
You know, I've been dealing with this question internally for like a few years now because like I said, I graduated from Romulus, and when I went to Romulus, like everybody wanted to go to Romulus, right? Like everybody from everywhere wanted to go to Romulus, whether it was sports, academics, friend groups, whatever. And I just been thinking like, why is it a disconnect? So one of the disconnects has to be, to me, it's a disconnect with the parents and it could be the school board, but let's just say the schools and the parents, because like it just don't seem like the parents take school as serious as maybe my parents did back in the day, or the friend group I came up with, parents. So if the parents don't take it serious and the kids have a choice to go to school that day, and then now you not coming to school every day, so now you behind because of the choice that your parents made for you to have a choice to get up and go to school on a Monday, like that's ever been a choice for anybody in this room. And then what happened? So what happened is the kids don't come to school. What happened if the kids don't come to school? Now we got what looks like low enrollment. What happened if it looked like low enrollment? Now we got what looked like test scores, what looked like 9% of people being proficient in ELA, 25% being proficient in math. We know that could be better if the kids just get up and come to school because the parents understand how important school is. What happened with that? Then people stop wanting to come to Romulus. When you look on Zillow and you look at Romulus and you see that Romulus High School is a 3 out of 10, what make me want to move to that community? Nothing, because I'm going to have to get up in the morning and drive 2 communities over who has a 10 or even a 5 or a 7. So why would I want to do that? So all of that pull from our community, but it started with the parents being involved in bridging the gap with the schools and knowing what's going on. Why would we have to tell parents why is it important to come to school? We don't know, but we have to get that message out some type of way, or we just go continue to decline. And I live in Romulus. I don't want to see that decline. Like my parents grew up in Inkster. They went to Inkster High. You drive up Middle Belt, there's no such school as Inkster High. The building is gone. That's the first building they tore down, right? That can happen in Romulus if we don't get this on the right track.
Thank you.
No problem. I don't see it. That's
All right. Decision-making. School board decisions often involve competing interests and passionate community input. How do you approach decision-making when faced with differing opinions or public pressure?
So when it comes to decision making, like no matter if it's different interests, the main interest is the main interest. If we talking school board, the main interest is the children. What's gonna be best for the children? What's gonna be best for the community to keep the schools open? Is no such thing as public pressure. That's not a real construct, because if the public really cared, this room would be filled every time it's a school board meeting because they want to see what's going on, not only when something big might be on the ballot or something, right? Because you care about everything or you don't care about nothing. You can't pick and choose. So I wouldn't let public pressure get to me. I don't feel like nobody can pressure me into making the right decision based on who the decision is for. The decision is for the children in the community schools. That's who it's for, and it's always got to be in their best interest.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, this question is on fiscal responsibility. The board plays a key role in maintaining the financial integrity of the district. What is your understanding of the school budgeting process?
I don't have 100% understanding of the school budgeting process, but I can't see it being different than any budgeting process. A budget is simply what you have allotted for what, and if you go over it, you over budget, or if you get right at it, you right at budget, or you might be under budget but can still get it done. Now, if it's any different than that, I would have to do my research, but a budget is, the budgeting process is pretty much the same.
What does it mean to be student-centered in practice, not just in principle?
I mean, in practice, anything in practice. I mean, if I'm student-centered, I'm out there with the students, letting them know, like, they have a voice, per se, and, like, that Mr. Jackson actually care about what we saying. He not just asking, and then things that we talked about with him never come up. If when given the opportunity. So it's just like being an advocate. Like, you have to be an advocate for the students, because if they confide, first of all, getting a kid to confide in you is very, very hard. So if you get a kid, especially a kid that's not yours, who you don't have no obligation to, and if they confide in you and then they feel like you didn't stand up for them when you had the opportunity, it'll never happen again. So you have to have integrity with that. So being student-centered is being there with the students, listening to them, and then giving the proper feedback to the adults who make the decisions, because then that's in principle. So in principle, I'm listening to give the information to the adults, and in theory, I'm doing it.
Thank you.
This question is on handling concerns. As a board member, you may be approached directly by parents or staff with concerns about district operations, personnel, or decisions. How would you handle these situations while maintaining confidentiality, respecting communication protocols, and ensuring the concern is addressed appropriately?
I would just handle that by being who I am. Like, I'm a stand-up man. Like, I'm a real stand-up person. If you telling me something in confidence but want to get it to point B without you being the person named, that's not a problem for me, because if you approaching me, you feel like this is a real issue. And once somebody feel like it's an issue for them, and they have, again, like with the kids, if they think they have an advocate and trusting me enough to approach me, I have to get the message to where the message is supposed to be. There's no way in between it. Why? Because I'm going to be held accountable when I'm out in the world with my family, and somebody like build up the courage to come and say something to you. You got to listen. You got to understand where they coming from, because you've either been there, you going there, or you know somebody who been there. It might be the school board here, but it might be a council thing with something because your neighbor not cutting their grass, or it might just be somebody you approaching that you wanted the same respect. So you got to give it to get it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Ethical leadership. Serving on a school board requires integrity, confidentiality, and ethical decision-making. Describe a time when you faced an ethical dilemma or were asked to make a decision that tested your values.
So people always laugh at this, but like, I used to manage a chain of urban stores, right? So you familiar with Villa? I don't know, like, or Snipes, say Snipes, which was Mr. Adams. So I used to manage Villa, which is their direct competitor, right? And I used to be the district manager. I oversaw between 6 and 8 stores, depending on if I got to Flint. But anyway, the biggest thing for Christmas, every Christmas, no matter the Christmas, is going to be a Retro 11 Jordan. And everybody and their mama will be coming to you trying to give you something extra to get a Retro 11 Jordan. Now, think about just one store, but I just told you I can really control 6 to 8 stores. So, like, my supply unlimited, but my name is my name. And if I don't do that for you and I don't do that for you, I still gain that respect from the customer. So no matter where I go in life, they always be like, well, yo, I seen such and such try to pay him to get an extra shoe, and it's like, no, you either in line, you follow the process. That's why it's a process, and I'm not putting my name on the line for nothing, because what if I get fired for that? Then I got to go home and tell my daughter, like, oh, yeah, I got fired trying to do something extra that was outside of the scope of my job duties. It's the same thing. My name is my name. I don't put my name, my good name. My good name is my good name, and I don't put that on the line for nothing or nobody but myself.
Thank you.
This question is the vision for the future. Looking ahead 5 years, what is your vision for Romulus Community Schools, and how do you see yourself contributing to that vision as a board member?
So this is my vision, because I've been thinking about this, like, since this letter came out. Like I said, when I graduated, like, everybody wanted to be affiliated with Romulus Schools, like, from sports to everything. And my vision is not to get back to that. My vision is to get past that, and it not just be for sports. I want people to come to Romulus because it's the #1 in science. It's the #1 in math. It's putting out the best debate team. I want everything educational focused, and people want to come because of that. It's nothing like a parent getting up saying, like, my child go to Romulus, she the #1 student in science, and not only in science and Romulus, but since they the #1 in the state, she the #1 in the state, right? But we gotta make sure that we working with the parents and everybody working together to get to that. We could get there. We've been there before. We could get past where we've been before. It's obvious we can. We got the students. Think about how many students lead a community, and think about the other schools that's getting our best and brightest, right? If our best and brightest stay where they from, then we who they compete with. And I say that because when I went to school, even though I went to Romulus, I thought about it like, if all of those people who came from Inkster stayed in Inkster schools, think about the best and the brightest that would have went there. But because Inkster couldn't compete at the time, we left, right? My number one contributing factor with going to Romulus, when I went to junior high Inkster, I said, I don't like the education here. Mom, I need to go live with my auntie because Romulus got a good education. Because I don't want to go to Inkster and then get to college and figure out, I had a 3.8, but I don't know nothing when I'm getting here, and them books so old. So I got to go where they competing at. If I can't be where we competing on the world level, it's not going to work out. We can get to that world level. We just got to buckle down, get in the dirt, get our hands dirty, get our best and our brightest back, and make it a reason to be proud to be from Romulus Community Schools again.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. We're at the end. Do you have any questions for the board or any closing remarks?
No, I don't have any questions because I appreciate what y'all do on a daily, weekly basis. Like, it take a lot to get up and care about, again, kids that's not yours. My closing remarks is, no matter who you pick, the vision's still the same. Like, we got to get our best and our brightest back and make the community schools past what they once were. The mark is what we were. The goal is to be what we know we can be.
We definitely appreciate your time and you coming. You're more than welcome to stay here. We have pizza, or you can go to Captain Nemo's like I told the other crew. Just trying to be consistent and transparent. But if you do leave, just try to come back around. We are moving ahead of schedule, but like 9 o'clock because the candidate will be picked and sworn in tonight.
Oh, okay. I'm going to be back because I told my daughter I eat dinner with her. So I'll be back
Keep
at about
that promise.
8:45.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Gotta keep that promise.
And you can just leave the materials there and you will take them. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm getting better, Eve. See? Teamwork. Hi, Queen Bells.
Hi.
All right.
Yeah, I hope they come in. Is the other person out there? Oh, so good.
So, is it Dan in the back? David, I apologize. Can we go to the doo-doo? Yes, close the session. Thank you so much. And we are back. The time is 7:41. How are you, Dr. Phillips?
I am good. I'm good. How are you all this evening?
Doing well. My name is Portia Laster. I am the board president. So we'll just go ahead and have you introduce yourself and give a brief overview.
Okay, I'm Tracy Blaylock Phillips. I am a former educator, a former State Department administrator, pastor, wife, mother, grandmother. I am a transplant from Florida. I have been in Michigan almost 19 years now. So the majority of my teaching career, as well as my administrative professional career, has been in the state of Florida.
Thank you, Dr. Phillips. And also, you do have the questions in front of you to reference. If I didn't say that, I apologize. First question will be, what do you believe is the primary role and responsibility of a school board member?
A school board, in my personal opinion, a school board member is responsible and accountable to the district for oversight, monitoring, intercession, communication to the community, as well as to the board, the superintendent. It should be a role in which the community is quite familiar with not only the individual and the individual's position in the community, but it should be a friend to all the stakeholders that are involved in promoting and producing educated young minds.
Thank you.
What unique skills, experiences, or perspectives do you bring that would add value to the board?
Well, excuse me, in my former position as a state administrator with the Florida Department of Education, I did oversight. I did auditing and monitoring for the 67 school districts that's in the state of Florida in the area of adult education administration. So my role was to develop the grant opportunities for the school district based on federal and state funding. And so part of the year, my job was to create the grant applications, tailor them to the initiative that came down, whichever was the funding source, whether it was federal or whether it was state, develop the applications, develop the teams to review those applications once they were submitted from the school districts, and then developing a metric and scoring them, and then disseminating the comptroller's office in the Florida Department of Education would disseminate the funds, but once they were disseminated, then the rest of the year, my job was to visit the different school districts and to see how they were utilizing those funds. If there was any malfeasance or misfeasance or any improprieties, that was my job to find out. So that was from North Florida to South Florida, the entire state. And it was very telling in that most often the smaller school districts would not have the personnel that was specifically tied to those areas in which the funding was given. So you kind of had the opportunity to see individuals wear many hats, whereas opposed to your larger districts like Hillsborough that has, Tampa as its city seat, Palm Beach, Miami, those school districts actually had the staff that was dedicated to work in their grant office for the school district. And so in that, the value that I bring would be to make sure that I would be a team player on the board as an opportunity to make sure that funding is secured, funding is sought after, and once it is in place, that it goes where it needs to go, and that the policies and procedures are followed for effectiveness and accountability.
Thank you. Can you share a specific example of how you've used those strengths to create positive change, improvement, or innovation in a previous role or organization?
Okay, I can use that same job. Once we were receiving the applications from the school districts, in that same scenario, you could tell what was a polished dedicated grant writer in the system. You could look at that application because they had the jargon, they had all their I's dotted and their T's crossed. For lack of a better way to explain it, the smaller districts' applications were they were less to the point. You could feel the intent in the application, but the team from the Department of Education was looking for jargon. So I created an additional rubric to score the smaller school districts, the ones who actually did not have dedicated grant writers, and we were able to put money in districts that would otherwise not have made the cut.
This question is pertaining to district challenges. From your perspective, what are the most significant challenges currently facing our district, whether academic, financial, or community-based?
Okay, so I will admit that I have moved in this area within the last 5 or 6 months, and I have grandchildren that I am the guardian for, and my goal is to seek the best educational opportunities for those guys. There's 3 of them. And I have to admit that I am not as well versed because I've just gotten to the area. However, I did spend some time when I pastored at Parks Memorial. No, is it Parks? Parks Memorial? I forgot now, but it's right down the street. I was an AME pastor, and so that was my last assignment in the denominational church of the AME church. So, but I got an opportunity to sit down with the superintendent at that time and discuss some things that he was concerned with. And one of the initiatives he spoke of was to create more after-school opportunities for the children. And so we were, at the time, trying to figure out how could church, nonprofit organizations come together, collaborate a little bit more to create some opportunities for not just latchkey kids, but for the community at large, some structured programs that would keep them engaged. And so, again, to the question, no, I'm not intricately intimate with the needs and the strengths, the weaknesses, the needs of Romulus, but I am here now, and so that's on my agenda. And I told you first and foremost, it will be the school district that my grandchildren are enrolled in.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Decision-making. School board decisions often involve competing interests and passionate community input. How do you approach decision-making when faced with differing opinions or public pressure?
Well, first and foremost, there has to be common goals established. And that is typically, from administratively, there's one goal. And sometimes the lack of communication translates to the parent and the community at large in a different fashion. And so I first would, okay, if this is the goal, how do we reach the goal? And you have to listen. You have to listen to people that are vested, that are authentically vested, because school boards are typically known for the back and forth, that the school system is not hearing or not meeting the needs of the community. And of course, it doesn't come initially as a conversation. It comes as contention. And folk come to school board meetings to voice their opinions, and sometimes they're a little bit dramatic, and things sometimes get out of control. But I think if the directive is to listen, hear, lay out the pros and the cons, not just the pros and the cons from the school board, but to actually hear. People want to be heard. And if you give them an ear and you take a little something from what they said, and you're able to bridge the gap and say, I may not be able to meet you all the way. However, we're going to be working towards that, but in the process, I hear you on points A, B, and C. So I just see, I work with boards and church boards all the time, and they can get a bit out of hand, but most of the time it's because of passion. Somebody's coming to the table very passionately, and sometimes we can be a little bit dramatic in our emotions, and then emotions take over and the communication is lost. So I've learned to be a great listener. In the capacity that I serve as the head of a church, you have to listen. A leader is only as good as they're willing to follow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, this question is on fiscal responsibility. The board plays a key role in maintaining the financial integrity of the district. What is your understanding of the school budgeting process?
Generally speaking, each school district has its categories. And I don't know if it's called FTE here. I know it's count day here in Michigan, but enrollment drives the opportunity to secure the funds that school districts desperately need. So looking at the whole component, from administrative, district-wide, school board, superintendent, and then the schools and their staffing and the budgets that's necessary to operate efficiently. All of those things are laid out for us to operate within. So we used to do, we would have opportunities where the community would be responsible for generating funds for the school district. That's aside from what the lottery, Florida Lottery provided, but just understanding from a fiscal management part, that I know that it's a budget. I know that there are pieces in the budget, and there are areas that control the pieces of the budget. So as far as the school district is concerned, my understanding is monitoring, oversight, possibly securing. So that's what I would say for that.
What does it mean to be student-centered in practice, not just in principle?
We're at number 6?
Yes.
Okay, what does it mean to be student-centered in practice and not just principle? Well, student-centered, I would have to literally give you what I think this is, okay? Because what I did teach for 1 year in Ypsilanti, and I had gotten a little older, and there were exams that they were asking me to take. And so by the time you get a bachelor's, a master's, and then a doctorate, as you get older, you're like, okay, no. Student-centered practice. I mean, I feel a little odd here, but student-centered would mean student-directed. I mean, I don't know. I'm just being honest. That's why I'm trying to like literally look, okay, not just in principle, student-centered in practice. So would that be curriculum that's geared to the individual needs of the student? And when the question says not just in principle, okay, idealistically, we would think that that would be a principle, but student-centered in practice, I would think that that was more or less directives for that particular student, that it catered to that student's needs.
Thank you.
I apologize, that's the best I can give you.
This question is on handling concerns. As a board member, you may be approached directly by parents or staff with concerns about district operations, personnel, or decisions. How would you handle these situations while maintaining confidentiality, respecting communication protocols, and ensuring the concern is addressed appropriately?
Okay, well, again, that's professionalism 101 to me. You're on the board positioned to receive comments, concerns, complaints. That's a part of the role. And the most important decorum is to, again, listen, feel the concerns, and I don't like to tell someone I'm going to get back with them unless I'm going to get back with them. So coming back and getting a uniform response, one that has been administratively based, saturated with that. As a board member, the board has the opportunity to communicate the same language. If another member gets the question, we're all saying the same thing. And getting an informed position and communicating back to that individual. If they are irate, of course, that would determine a different mode of operation. First and foremost, I've seen things get a little irate and folk aggressively disagreeing or aggressively communicating their position, and I've seen individuals. There was literally no opportunity to minimize that situation, so it was a walk away. My father was school superintendent in my city in the state of Florida for 16 years, and we got an opportunity to be on display, if you will. So I got an opportunity to watch him, and he was always very diplomatic. He was informative, he was passionate, and he had integrity. And those are the things that my parents taught us. So receiving concerns or dealing with a not so untenable situation is not, not anything that I cannot do or I would not do. It's professionalism first and foremost, and that's what establishes your integrity in the community. Whether or not the people like you, they can always say, I don't like her, but she's fair.
Thank you.
Ethical leadership. Serving on a school board requires integrity, confidentiality, and ethical decision-making. Describe a time when you faced an ethical dilemma or were asked to make a decision that tested your values.
I had a school district that had improperly used, it was the federal funds. And as you all know, federal funding comes with its own set of rules that sometimes may differ with state. And I had to monitor the school district and report my findings. Now, I had established a good rapport with the person that was serving in the grant director position. I mean, a great rapport. But what, numbers just don't lie. And so there were some things that were spent inappropriately and personally, and it was uncovered by the audit review. So I had to sit down and have a discussion and let them know as well. The superintendent was present as well, and let them know what my findings were. And it was difficult, but it was necessary. I had to do that, and she was dismissed from her position because the problem was egregious. It was nothing that you could just kind of say, okay, be careful. I had to report it. And so it was somewhat uncomfortable because, again, I had been in that role for over 12 years, so you establish relationships with people. But then you also know when they're lack of a better term, shucking and jiving, and you feel like, this is not the same person that was here last year or the year before, so, but at any rate, that had to be taken care of. There's a process, and I followed the process, and the decision was made from the school district as to terminate the employee. It was not my decision, it was their decision. Yes, I believe that she should have had sanctions. And so if that was the sanction, that was the sanction. So I was okay with what took place in the school district.
Thank you, Dr. Phillips. With about 5 minutes left, we have the last question and then closing remarks. Vision for the future. Looking ahead 5 years, what is your vision for Romulus Community Schools, and how do you see yourself contributing to the vision as a board member?
So I was here in 2017 and 2018. And some of my members had conversations with me about their concerns with the school district. And of course, I had quite a few children in the congregation as well. And their main concern at that time was access to what they considered a quality education. And some of the comments also spoke to inconsistency with same problems, different schools. let's see, what was it? I'm trying to think what it was at Romulus High. But there was an undercurrent of what they were communicating to me was inequality. And coming from a school district that was 79% white, and my father, of course, was African American, there were plenty times that he had to ensure that he was in the middle of the road. And so that's where I stayed as pastor, in the middle of the road. My questions were to my members: what are you doing? What questions are you asking? Are you going to the school to ensure that these steps are being taken? Are you just taking somebody's word? You've got to go to the school. So a couple of times I went to the school on their behalf, and I feel that I was met with cordial, responsible, and accountable staff. And so I would like to see the future of Romulus School District in that lane and higher. If you are recruiting, if you're recruiting talented educators, if you are holding the educators that you currently have accountable and giving them training opportunities to improve. You know, everybody is not going to move at the same pace, but as long as you have resources and opportunities for people to do better, they will do better. Most school districts need to improve in their communication to the community. There are stakeholders, and every one of those positions in the community has to be respected and should be at the table as much as possible. If you keep an open line of communication, then everybody knows the plan, the purpose, and so I see it improving. I see it getting on the map and saying that you will get a quality education from the Romulus School District.
Thank you, Dr. Phillips. With 1 minute left, do you have any questions for the board or any closing remarks?
I don't think I have any questions thus far. I'm thankful for the opportunity. I saw the opportunity, and I'm not bragging, but I've got a lot of gifts and talents. And so, when you are in a community, the best way to improve the community is to jump in where you can. And so I have the education, I have the knowledge, I have the professionalism I feel, to be able to serve in this capacity and do an excellent job. I am jovial, I am amenable, I am easy to work with. I am not a backstabber or a backbiter. I do not like folk who operate that way, but I do understand that just because I don't like it doesn't mean that they don't exist. And so it just keeps us on our toes and makes us sharper and continue the dialogue such that we all stay on the same page.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your time, Dr. Phillips. You can leave the questions there. Eve will grab those. And we do have some light refreshments and some food if you would like. You're more than welcome to stay in the boardroom. Probably around, we're moving ahead, but I would just come back around about 9 if you do decide to leave, because we will be selecting our candidate tonight and the person will be sworn in.
All right.
You can get cozy for music with the soup if you would like. So, yeah, you can leave that there. And so for the record, it is 8:11 and we are going to take a break until our next candidate is here. Thank you.
How's everyone doing tonight?
We're good. We are back. The time is now 8:33. All right. Good evening, Mr. Sherwood.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank
How's
you.
everyone doing tonight? Great, great.
Well, I'm Portia Laster, the board president, and we would just like you to introduce yourself and give us a brief overview.
All right, my name is Timothy Sherwood. I'm a child of God, Christian man. I'm a husband, a father of 2 boys. I am a longtime community member of Romulus. And as a matter of fact, 28 years. I love my community. I'm somebody that's been active in the community. I'm a deacon at my church. I'm also for 8 years, I've been the president of Romulus Band Boosters, something that I take a lot of pride in. And I just want to continue to help and support my community.
Thank you, Mr. Sherwood. My question is for role understanding. What do you believe is the primary role and responsibility of a school board member?
Well, I believe that most of all, it's this, to set a course, and have a direction. And also being able to communicate to our shareholders, which is the taxpayers, our community, our students, and our teachers. Also, as a board member, you want to set educational direction, curriculum, policies. Also, you want to be involved in hiring and evaluating the superintendent, ensuring accountability for student achievement, which is very important to me. I feel that sometimes there's some people who overlook how great Romulus is, and to be able to showcase the fine people, the fine graduates that have gone through the school system. And my sons were one of them. One was a Wayne State graduate who he's a CFO of his own company in Atlanta. My youngest son, he graduated from U of M from Ross School of Business, and he's working for Deloitte. He's doing real well, trying to pay off that student loan. But I think that the biggest thing as far as being a board member is just ensuring accountability for student achievement, serving as a liaison between community and schools. Board members represent the community's interests by making decisions on behalf of students, educators, and taxpayers. And I would like to have the opportunity to help and be a part of that mission.
Thank you. Before you go, I just want to make sure I mention that the questions you can reference there in the folder,
Oh,
if I didn't say that already. Thank
you
you.
so much.
Okay, appreciate it.
What unique skills, experiences, or perspectives do you bring that would add value to the board?
Well, one thing I would like to say is, it's a cliche, but teamwork makes the dream work, right? I was 8.5 years in the military, proud veteran. So I learned to work under a lot of different circumstances, whether it was going out on deployments, whether I was in charge of a squad, whether we were doing new tasks, whatever it was, we were doing it together as a team. And I believe that teams have strengths and weaknesses, and we need to make sure that the weaker links can get some help, and also the people that are stronger should be able to have that aptitude to teach and want to help others up. So that's one of the things that I learned. Also, in the military, I completed a primary leadership course, going on to make sergeant. So that was something I'm very proud of. Also, in my business, when I transitioned from the military to civilian life, I took a sales course, Dale Carnegie, and I was very proud of that. It taught me a lot about communicating, about being friendly and approachable. And then when I transitioned into work, I started running day-to-day operations at Midwest Truck Accessories. So I did everything from customer service, dealerships, vendors, and I was able to hone my listening and problem-resolving skills. You know, anything that comes up, conflicts with customers, and I was able to grow my business a lot just through getting out there in my community of people that needed truck accessories. So I would go out, I would go to people that had fleets, I would go to DTE, I would go to different heating and cooling places that had vans, trucks, and I would meet people. I would meet people for the first time. And because I'm friendly and approachable, they were drawn to me, and I was able to create a lot of accounts and stuff like that. So I feel that one of the strengths that I have is just being somebody that can be a leader, also somebody that can be a listener, also somebody that communicates well, and also somebody that has the pulse of the community. I love this community. I love serving in this community. And when I found out about this vacancy, I felt drawn and compelled to say I want to serve. And one of the things that I will say as far as qualifications too is just my heart. I have a big heart for this community. I have a lot of love for this community, and I will do whatever it takes. And as a lot of you know, when things weren't always, looking good and we didn't have things going our way, I was somebody that was here championing for change and for making a difference. And that's one of the strengths I think I have, is being able to get people excited about something and getting behind something and being a voice of change.
Can you share a specific example of how you've used those strengths to create a positive change, improvement, or innovation in a previous role or organization?
Yeah, so I was privileged to meet with an executive for a dealership. He was somebody who owned 4 or 5 dealerships in La Fontaine, and he didn't do any business with us, and this was approximately 5 years ago. And because he had a bad experience, and it was a few years prior, so I sat with him, I went over some things, I was able to adjust some things, and we met, we had lunch, and I talked to him about the way that we're turning things around and the way that we're adapting and the way that we are making changes for the better. And sometimes people do make mistakes, and sometimes you need to give somebody a second chance. And he did give us a second chance, and we still have that account to this day. So I'm one of those guys that I say never. If one door gets shut on you, sometimes it's opening to another door. So that's one of the things I can use as an example. We were able to get that account and do a lot of business.
Thank you.
The next question is on district challenges. From your perspective, what are the most significant challenges currently facing our district, whether academic, financial, or community-based?
Well, I think that there is quite a few challenges, but you have to meet these challenges with using it as an opportunity, all right? We can't always be, oh, woe is me, enrollment's down, woe is me, this and that. Well, what are we going to do about it? Let's put our heads together. Let's come up with a plan. You know, we can do everything from something that's as simple as grassroots. I mean, I loved when we had my wife was telling me about the back-to-school barbecue and how successful that was. I think that doing more things like that will strengthen the, the involvement of the community and get more people excited about the school system. One thing I will say about Romulus is, of course, we all know that we have Belleville right down the road, all right? And they're not going to go anywhere. So we have to be reminded that we have to offer things and get excited about what we have going on and not be down like, well, they're doing this, they won this in basketball, they did this in football. We need to champion our own students, get them excited about what we're going to do and what we are doing here. And I think that will, you know, help retain students. And I think we need to have more of a pipeline when it comes to having students go from the elementary schools to the middle schools to the high schools and continue to strengthen and grow that excitement. We could do things like mentorships to where you have, you know, high school basketball players maybe setting up some kind of a clinic with, you know, some of the middle schoolers and some of the elementary schoolers and teaching them, you know, some basic skills, you know, about basketball and just having a one-on-one and showing them a couple of things and just getting them excited. This is what you're going to do at the next level. Just like with the band program, you know, you want to be in a situation to where you want to get those elementary school kids, middle school kids, and when we have our Bandorama, and all those kids come in there and they see the marching band come down, and it's nice and loud, and they get the big eyes, and they're like, you know, I can be doing this in a couple of years. You know, we want to create that kind of excitement. And you just can't do it in small increments all the time. You have to have a vision. You have to have a plan. And I think that I would be good at mapping out plans, especially reaching out to the community, trying to foster different mentorship programs with the youth. So I think that's one of the weaknesses that we have, but I think we could turn that weakness into a strength as far as retaining students, as far as, and especially students that, you know, used to be here, even alumni. You know, we should set up some kind of workshops from time to time and say, hey, look at DC. DC did this. DC did that. Look at Brett. Look at all these other graduates. Look at some of these people that are role models that have gone on. Skylar Thomas, look at what, you know, people like that are doing, and they're coming back to give back into the community. So I think those things can kind of be a situation where we can overcome some of the deficits, you know, grow some of the and retain students, and also teachers. You know, get teachers excited about the opportunity to be here, to be a part of something, to build something. You know, to have character, to have family, to have unity. I think that's a good thing. With the branding, Romulus, us, right? Us. It's all of us together, togetherness. And I think that's a positive thing. And I think we could turn some of these weaknesses into a positive, into a strength, if we just take that kind of approach.
Thank you.
Decision-making. School board decisions often involve competing interests and passionate community input. How do you approach decision-making when faced with differing opinions or public pressure?
Well, I think for a lot of things as a board, you need to have a vision. Not everybody's going to have one belief and one you know, goal, but the goal should always be to champion the school district and move it forward. I think one of the things that we can look at and do as far as, when we have, disagreements or community pressure or something like that is we need to talk. We need to talk. We need to open up the lines of communication. What I would like to see from time to time is I would like to see where we actually invite the community to the high school, to the auditorium. Maybe 3 times a year, we have a open house to where people can come and say, hey, what are your concerns? What things can we address? And, the thing that I think that the community would really love is if we could actually answer things or try and say some things in real time. And I know sometimes it is difficult, but if we have a relaxed, open forum to where we can actually have more community involvement and actually feel like they're being listened to and heard, I think that would go a long way. One thing about me is I don't bow to pressure. I've been under pressure in a lot of circumstances, so I don't cave into, what so-and-so is saying or what so-and-so is doing and that kind of thing. I have my own voice, but with my own voice, I'm a very good listener. I want to be part of a team. I think we should try and listen to each other and make well-educated decisions together as a team, as a one board together.
Thank you.
All right, this next question is on fiscal responsibility. The board plays a key role in maintaining the financial integrity of the district. What is your understanding of the school budgeting process?
Well, I do know that there is a certain amount of money that's budgeted for schools. And it's allocated, and we have certain things that we can spend it on. And I truly believe that the board's responsibility is to oversee budgets and ensure that funds are used effectively for student success. I don't know everything about school budgets, but one thing I will say is I am somebody who is a quick study, and I love to learn, and I'm somebody that can be a part of something and be brought up to speed pretty quickly.
What does it mean to be student-centered in practice, not just in principle?
Well, one thing I will piggyback on is just my 8 years as president of the Romulus Band Boosters, all right? My son, my youngest son, he graduated in 2021. It's 2025. Me and my wife are still the president and vice president of the Band Boosters. We haven't abandoned it. It is passionate to us. We want to see the band program continue to have funds to succeed, and we enjoy it. It's part of who we are. So it's, even if, somebody says, well, your son graduated in 2021, why are you still doing it? Because I love it, because I love this community. I want to be a part of it. I want to see it succeed. And I enjoy music. Both of my sons were in the band program. So, it's just something that's near and dear to my heart. So for me, I think that being able to champion students, being able to be somebody that lifts them up, that gives them a smile, gives them a pat on the back, says, hey, you guys are doing a great job. They love that. They want to hear that. And yeah, if they're not doing such a great job, you got to let them know too. But you can do it in a loving and kind manner. And also, one of the things I see about the students here is I feel like they need to have more things to be proud of. And I think I see this district definitely moving in that direction. And I'm excited about it. I think that this district is on the up. I think it's on the move, the branding, the marketing, the excitement, the buzz, you know, seeing everything that I see. It's just wonderful to see how much things have changed and grown, and I just love it. And I think that if we have that same enthusiasm, I think that'll rub off on the students and the kids. But I definitely am a champion of the students and learning and creating a great environment for them to learn. You know, my interests, you know, is just a desire to help and every student in our district to have access to safe, supportive, and quality learning environment. I just want to have, you know, a great strengthening of community. I think that's a good thing with teachers, students, faculty, board members, superintendent. I think if we all work together, we can achieve that.
Thank you.
Before the next question is asked, I just want to say we're at the 10-minute mark for 3 questions and closing remarks, okay?
This one is pertaining to handling concerns. As a board member, you may be approached directly by parents or staff with concerns about district operations, personnel, or discussions. No decisions, I'm sorry. How would you handle these situations while maintaining confidentiality, respecting communication protocols, and ensuring the concern is addressed appropriately?
Well, for me, I would look at it as an opportunity to listen, all right? And I would be very attentive about listening. I would not try to talk over the person. I would listen, and I would actually take the time. If I didn't have my phone on me, if I had a pen, I would write down their name and number and what their concern was in my phone, just so they knew that I was paying attention to them and listening. I would let them know that as a board member, I cannot make any decisions on what they're asking me about or talking to me about, because we make decisions as a collective. So I would definitely just approach it as a, you know, listen, I will get back to you on this, I will take your information, and I would do my due diligence to try and get an answer for you.
Thank you.
Ethical leadership. Serving on the school board requires integrity, confidentiality, and ethical decision-making. Describe a time when you have faced an ethical dilemma or were asked to make a decision that tested your values.
Well, there's always some times when you grow up and you're doing something somewhere and you're like, this isn't right. So I'll do something quick from my past. I was at a movie theater and I sat down in a seat and there was a wallet there. I opened up the wallet and there was probably $400 or $500 in there. There was a lot of money. I could have just taken that money. Nobody was around. It was a dark theater, blah, blah, blah. No, I could have just taken that money, but that's not my character. So I took it right away to the person that was the usher, and I asked them if they could get the manager, because I wanted to make sure that at least 2 people knew that I found, money with a wallet with money in it. And I ended up just giving it back. And, you're in life, you're faced with decisions from time to time that are like that. But I will tell you, I lean on my Christian faith, and that's one of the things I can tell you. I'm a Christian man, and I have high integrity. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last question is vision for the future. Looking ahead 5 years, what is your vision for Romulus Community Schools, and how do you see yourself contributing to that vision as a board member?
Well, our vision, because I won't just say my vision, because I think I would like it to be a collective. It should be for Romulus Schools to have a very student, to have every student feel empowered to achieve academic excellence. I want every student to feel supported, and I don't want students to get lost in the shuffle. All right? I don't want there to be such a disparity of the haves and then these people are down here. This guy plays sports and this guy just does STEAM. I want everybody to progress together, one Romulus, together as a family. So 5 years down the road, I would love to see this school system in this area just continue to be vibrant, continue to move forward, continue to have great programs, continue to lean on our leaders, our mayor, our superintendent, our school board members, because we have a great beginning. We have moved things forward. We're going in a positive direction. We are just, I think it's almost like when you're bubbling over and you got all that excitement, and then I just feel like we're just ready to move to that next level. And I think in 5 years, we will be reaping some of those rewards at that next level. I think that we could actually have a basketball state championship if we worked hard for it. I think we could do different things when it comes to robotics. I think this culinary program is going to be something that a lot of people are going to gravitate towards. So just seeing the growth and development over the past couple of years, I'm just so excited about what's going to happen 5 years from now. I think it's going to be a great, great time to be part of Romulus. And I would love to be a part of Romulus and a part of that school board to help that growth happen.
Well, Mr. Sherwood, we surely do thank you. We are at the point where you can ask the board a question or you can provide any closing remarks.
Well, I would just like to say that I appreciate the opportunity. I've been somebody who everybody here knows, and I hope that you feel that I've always been somebody that's been a champion of this community. And I want you guys to know that I love Romulus. And that is my closing remark. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sherwood. You can leave the questions here, and then you're more than welcome to have some drinks, a little cold pizza, and just stick around.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I think we got a microwave back there. We're gonna go on a break. The other person not here.
So it is 9:01. We're going to take another recess until our final candidate comes in. Thank you so much.
So we're not interviewing the last person?
She's not here, so we just waiting.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought you, okay.
Thank you for sticking with us. The time is 9:25. Our last candidate was a no call, no show. So we are now at the final portion of this process. I want to thank all the candidates for coming. It was a mirror opportunity to hear some of your ideas and some of your thoughts, and I took notes while everybody was speaking, and I took something from every candidate. I do want to go back over what I read in the beginning, just so everyone is clear at home and in here how this process will go. So just give me a moment until it comes up.
So names are listed there, and then there'll be a little drop down. So for whoever candidate was present, just let us know first pick, the second pick. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, let me bring that back up. Sorry about that.
All right, so after all interviews are completed, each board member will rank their top 3 candidates using the following point system. First choice will be 3 points, second choice will be 2 points, third choice will be 1 point. Our board secretary will collect and total the points. The candidate with the highest total score will move forward to the final consideration and appointment pending a majority vote by the board. All votes will be taken publicly in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. So as our wonderful David just shared on our other screen, which we will flip back to, each of the board members, we have a slot, and our choices will be put on there as we go around in a round robin style of voting. Capiche, caposh? All right. So we're gonna start with Trustee Kamal.
I say all of them?
I'm about to.
Oh,
Trustee Kamal, could we start with your number 1?
Tracy,
Pardon me? Dr. Tracy?
yes.
Your number 2, please.
And Antoine,
Mr. Jackson. And your number 3 pick?
Tim,
Pardon me?
what's his last name? Tim
Mr. Sherwood?
Sherwood.
Thank you. Ms. Kennard?
Dr. Phillips?
Is what number? 3. No, we're starting with your number 1 pick. Yeah. Okay, Dr. Phillips. Thank you.
Number 2 with Jackson,
Mr. Jackson.
then Green.
And you said Green?
Yes.
He was third.
Yes. Myself for Rogers, my number 1 is, I'm sorry, Ms. Ashley, candidate 1. My number 2 was Mr. Jackson. And my number 1 is Dr. Tracy. I'm sorry, my number 3 is Dr. Tracy, sorry about that. And President Laster?
my number 1 is Ashley. My number 2 is Mr. Jackson. My number 3 is Dr. Phillips.
And we have Vice President.
All right, my number 1 is Tim Sherwood. My number 2 is Antoine Jackson. And my number 3 is Ashley Capito.
Thank you, board.
So with 2, we have Ashley Capito. Right? All right, so Ashley, 3, 6, 3, 6, 7, 8. Dr. Phillips has 8.
Eve, are you, for a second? I'm saying, are you doing the tallies too? Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you finish yours, you can bring it up here.
Antoine is on 2. Three, 6, 7. Mm-hmm. You don't have a tally, do you have a tally? I thought those points was supposed to tally. But I thought his was tallying it up.
Oh,
You see,
I got it.
you understand what I'm saying? It's not. Right, you should have been able to.
For the record, I think, so that third choice under DeAndre Green shouldn't be there.
No, someone chose him.
Somebody did?
Yes,
Who chose Green?
yes. Ms. Bernard. Bernard
You did?
Yes.
Oh,
Bernard
okay,
did,
sorry.
yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Bernard did Green.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was under Jackson. I thought she said Jackson.
Yes, Jackson.
Okay.
I said Phillips, Jackson, Green.
Again, before we go into the motion, just want to thank everybody for their patience. This is part of being transparent to make sure we have the motion that is documented for the records and the minutes. And then, of course, we did think it would be tallies, but we didn't specify. We just kind of put something out there. So we just had to make sure we did our due diligence and counting and making sure everything was correct. So thank you again for your patience.
For the term of office, October the 14th, 2025, until December 31st of 2026, nominations for the trustee, move that the Board of Education approves the appointment of Mr. Antoine Jackson as board trustee until December 31st, 2026.
Support.
It's been motioned by Rogers, supported by Kennard. Any discussion? Roll call.
Rogers is yes. Kennard,
Yes.
Kamal,
Yes.
Laster,
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you, Board, and congratulations, Mr. Jackson. Did you want to say any few words before you get sworn in?
We gotta swear me.
We'll save your words for after you're sworn in, so you can come on up.
Accept the position.
Yes.
You want to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of the Board of Education
of the office of the Board of Education
of Romulus Community Schools to the best of my ability.
of Romulus Community Schools to the best of my ability.
Thank you so much.
Would you like to?
Sign here that you accept the office. And sign here that you've done the oath.
Did you want to come up here and say a few words? You can sit in Dr. Emerson's seat for right now.
We'll let you
It's
sit.
all right, Dr.
We'll let
Emerson?
you sit in that seat for right now.
Right.
Welcome aboard.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, you good?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, and I look forward to serving the schools and the community 100%.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Support.
9:43. All in favor?
Aye.
9:43. Thank you all.
I'm gonna get your phone number so we can set up the group chat.
Who supported?
Support,
Laster?
yeah.
Okay. Whatever. We all done. All in favor?
And I'll just text you my number, then you'll be included in a group chat for communication and stuff. And then we'll be in contact for onboarding and all of that. Congratulations.